Good evening, good morning, and good night. From whatever time zone you're currently residing in our great grand universe. I'm Kurt Horne, coming to you live from our studios deep in the Great Rocky Mountains. Welcome to Twilight in the Mountains. Today is Sunday, January 18th, 1999. A lot to talk about this week, so let's get started. The president is in the news, not for Whitewater, not for Paula Jones, but for a White House intern, a Miss Monica Lewinsky, who sources say has been in a torrid sexual relationship with the president since 1995. Clinton yesterday denied the allegations, but is it really that much of a stretch? His 23-point lead over Dole with women voters speaks for itself. Old Billy is quite the ladies' man. No word yet from former Goldwater gal Hillary Rodham Clinton on the affair, but investigator Ken Starr has laid out a litany of recordings and witnesses that tell quite a compelling story. However, we can't dismiss the chance that this entire story could be a cover for what is currently happening behind the curtain of the American empire. Just this month, NASA announced that we have discovered ice on Mars. Now, listeners to this show have likely known for quite some time that Mars has ice. Of course Mars has ice. We know this because we know that Mars not only has ice, but running water, waterfalls, lakes, ponds, maybe even swamps. So begins the slow trickle, folks. Give it a couple more years and we'll be hearing about amoeba, parasites, maybe even some sort of higher life form. But who's going to talk about that when such salacious gossip exists? Why talk about NASA's cover-up of extraterrestrial life if the president might have received oral satisfaction from an intern right under the desk in the Oval Office? Oh yes, dear listeners, our dear men in black will do anything to provide cover to our true intentions beyond the stars, up to and including fabricating, or at the very least amplifying, this story about Blowjob Billy and the raven-haired siren. But here at Twilight in the Mountains, we strive to bring you the truth, to ask real questions about our universe, and, if we're lucky, to answer those questions. Tonight's guest is esteemed cryptozoologist and paranormal investigator Ellie Hobbs. Ellie is known for her groundbreaking research on the elusive pattern screamer beings, as well as her much-publicized sit-in at the U.S. Logging Coalition in protest of the deforestation of rural cryptid habitats. Ellie and more coming up after this break.
Caterpillar, butterfly, fruit, fruitopia, fig leaf, tuxedo, fruit, fruitopia, spear, supermarket, fruit, fruitopia.
Welcome back to Twilight in the Mountains. I'm your host, Kurt Horne. Joining us today is famed cryptozoologist Ellie Hobbs. Today, Ellie is going to talk to us about their deep history with Mothman of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Of course, we all know that Mothman was first seen in the mid-1960s by several people in the area, some with harrowing stories. Ellie here has a harrowing story of her own. Mothman, Mothwoman. Ellie's book regarding Mothman has just reached the number 3 on the National Enquirer best-selling list. It goes deep into Ellie's personal history with Mothman. For those of our listeners who haven't heard the story, would you like to tell us about the first time that you encountered Mothman deep in West Virginia?
Kurt, what happened as I was driving was quite remarkable. A figure flew past the front of my car. I panic stopped in a way that sent me off the road. I stumbled out of my vehicle and there he was with those giant, glowing red eyes, just absolutely giant eyes. And yada, yada, yada. 6 months later, we were married.
Fascinating, Ellie. Fascinating. Yes, we all remember the much publicized wedding. It was all over the news. It was an important time and place in the history of the supernatural in this great country to see two disparate beings such as yourself come together. But for those of you in the know, it didn't last. What happened to drive the two of you apart?
Well, that's an interesting question, Kurt, because it happens slowly and then all at once. Okay? The all at once in this case referred to one particular evening. You're familiar with it. Moths are night pollinators, right? Well, this moth was caught pollinating at night. It was pollinating in our living room on our white couch, and the neighbor gal. And are you familiar with an additional sexual organ that goes by the name of cormata?
No, but I believe our producers, they can show us one here. Ooh, yes, that's
Yeah,
quite
those things are really doing their job.
Now, Ellie, what was the lovemaking like?
Dusty.
At that, we're going to open up the lines. We have one coming in right now. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey there, Kurt. This is Stu from Dayton, Maine.
Hello, Stu.
Big fan of the show.
Thank you very much, Stu. We're always happy to hear people, especially from the great Northeast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful up here at this time of year. Just wanted to say I heard you guys were talking about the Mothman. I've got a story of my own if you wanted to hear it.
Absolutely, Stu. Please regale us. I'm sure we're all happy to hear the history of this mythic cryptid.
Oh, maybe there's one ahead of
Yeah,
her.
absolutely. Whatever you said. So I was driving up to the 5, going turkey hunting with my dog Blue, and I driving down about 8 p.m. In between supper and dinner, and just like that, I saw some red eyes on the corner of the road, and it's just like they were saying, it was the Mothman. He had his thumb out, hitchhiking like they do. Well, of course, I wanted to pick him up. I wanted to be a good local. Well, he was heading up north to Augusta to the casino. And what do you know? 3 or 4 hours later, a couple of Pabst Blues later, and I was $500 down, and he owes me money.
Well, Stu, that's a pretty big allegation there. Ellie, what are your thoughts on that? Does this sound reminiscent of the sort of character that Mothman would have?
Oh, I buy it. Harold had was out money all over town.
I'm sorry, Harold?
Well, Harry to his friends, so to me, Harold.
I've actually heard that there's a film on the horizon about the life of Mothman starring a Mr. Richard Gere. Have you been contacted about this at all? Do you have any involvement in this story?
You know, I have, Kurt, and I rather wish I hadn't. It appeared to be a hush consulting credit offer, something to appease me so that I would not actually do any consulting and let a lot of their inaccuracies, both on a personal past level and a professional cryptozoology perspective. So I'd let that slide.
Well, just goes to show you that Hollywood might really be Holly weird. Mr. Gere, if you're listening and would like to respond to the things that are being said about this upcoming film, please let us know. We'll get you on Twilight in the Mountains. I've been your host, Kurt Horne. With me, Ellie Hobbs. I'll see you next week.